The island of Manhattan was once a wild place, home to wandering bands of Native Americans. Then, everything changed. This is the story of how New York grew into one of the world's richest and most distinctive cities, transformed by a series of visionary feats of engineering, driven by irresistible economic energy and ambition.
We built this city. We built this city.
The most famous skyline in the world. The glittering towers of Lower Manhattan are engineering marvels that boast of New York's wealth and power. But nature was New York's first engineer. 20,000 years ago, Manhattan was 100 miles inland, on the edge of the great glacial sheets of the last ice age. As the ice melted, the Atlantic Ocean swept up to the North American coast. The glaciers had sculpted an ideal natural harbor around Manhattan. New York's destiny as one of the world's great trading cities was carved out. When the Dutch arrived here in 1624, they came not to colonize, but to do business. The Dutch West India Company called its settlement New Amsterdam, after their own city of canals back home in the Netherlands. There are still traces of the town they built in New York City today, if you know where to look. Diana Wall is one of New York's foremost archaeologists.
It was an insane, romantic idea that should never have gotten as far as it did, but it shows us the power of the romance of the skyscraper at that point.
In 1973, the Empire State Building lost the title of tallest building in the world to the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. The towers were New York's most prominent skyscrapers until the tragic events of September 11th, 2001.
For a long time, the biggest things you could see from here were the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. For the last almost 30 years, they defined the Manhattan skyline. They were the tallest buildings by virtue of being a pair. They were different from anything else. And they were the only things in New York that were taller than the Empire State Building.
The new skyline has an important symbolic role, not only to provide a memorial for everything that's gone, but also to create a bold new profile in the spirit of the city.
One of the best ways in which we can remember is to keep going. The ambition of New York is one of the things that has to be put back there, as much as a memory of the people who were lost.
New York's ambition has never failed it before. More than any other city, it is the product of sheer willpower. Whether pushing back the wild river, engineering natural beauty out of a wasteland, spanning untried distances across water, or reaching for the sky. The whole of New York is breathtaking evidence of the unstoppable energy of the people who built this city.